Hey, good morning. Welcome back to another episode of HardFoul Radio. This is the show that values time and puts God first. Let's get started. So, it is a Team Tuesday, so you know how we have to start. Look, man, I could go over all the reasons why Denver is the best team in football. And I know a lot of you guys are going to immediately have pushback on that, but listen, they're 6-2. Their two losses, one on a leverage penalty that you could argue was BS. I'm not here to argue that. It is what it is. It already happened. And the other one was maybe the play of the season by Justin Herbert to beat them to go in the third game of the season. Otherwise, offensive line has been dominant all year. Defense has been dominant all year. And that is without Dre Greenlaw, who has only played essentially a handful of snaps due to injury, and then he was suspended for the game. I could say Denver's while they've had things they need to button up, which is why they're the third most penalized team, I think they've also gotten a very unfair whistle. But that's why I know they're great, because they haven't had their entire defense together, and they're still not going to. Pat Surtain, the reigning defensive player of the year, is probably going to be out for 4 weeks, or 2 to 3 weeks, with a pec. Greenlaw is just now going to come back again post his suspension. The offense has not been great. There has been downright ugly games. Denver, you could argue, played the worst game of the NFL season against the Jets, and then you could argue played the best game of the NFL season against the Giants in terms of exciting and people wanting to watch. This offense still has not fully clicked until this last game, and you could say, oh, that's just the Cowboys defense. But when are we going to start running out of excuses to say why Denver isn't justified to be one of the best teams in the NFL? We're just going to keep pushing the goal line. And I watch a lot of sports media. Trust me, I do. Watch it from the moment I wait. Pretty much as soon as I'm done recording, I'm watching it until I get home at night, and even then some. But let's talk about the thing that I haven't discussed with Denver yet this year. I've talked about the offensive line. I've talked about the defense. I've talked about how great they are, I believe, in terms of coaching, the depth they have at receiver, corner, the people complaining about the draft class. By the way, we saw Pat Bryant catch a touchdown. We saw Jahdae Barron get an interception, who now Barron's going to have to step up with Pat being out. But let's talk about the one thing I haven't discussed, because I just no longer cared to have the argument, but I am ready today. And that is Bo Nix. And that is Bo Nix a franchise quarterback? How good is Bo Nix? How great is Bo Nix? Because this has been constant since the moment he was drafted. And Tony is going to hate this segment, and I already told him, bro, don't even watch it. Don't even listen to it. You're not going to like it. It's okay. The people that don't like Bo Nix just didn't like Bo Nix from the start, and they're just not willing to admit or like Bo Nix since then. Like, if you didn't like Bo Nix when he was drafted, you don't like Bo Nix now. That's the reality of the situation. Bo Nix, now the reason is different. I'll be very clear here before I say this next part. The reason people did not like Lamar Jackson when he was first becoming who he was there was a lot of racist motives and incentives behind that. I want to be very clear here. There were people who just did not like Lamar Jackson because the way he looked while he played quarterback. Okay? But the reality is, Bo Nix has become the new Lamar Jackson. For everybody, I've watched show after show, podcast after podcast, YouTube guy after YouTube guy, radio guy after radio guy say, you know what? If you had to do that quarterback draft class, it's Drake, it's Jaden, it's Caleb. We don't have enough info on JJ. I even like Penix and Bo Nix, and I still don't buy it. Still don't buy it. Still not good enough. And then funny enough, when you look at CBS, and CBS posts, well, who leads that draft class in yards and touchdowns and wins? Oh, it's Bo Nix. If you look at that draft class last year and this year, last year, 2 of them made the playoffs. It was Washington and Denver. So Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. Jaden has missed some time. And so if the playoffs started today, there would be 2 people from that draft class that make the playoffs. Drake May and Bo Nix. Isn't that funny? So the guy who leads that entire class in yards, touchdowns, wins, is going to probably be the only guy, now not totally out of the realm possibility, Caleb could make it this year as far as the playoffs go. I still think the Bears have a chance. But the only guy who's probably going to make it both year one and year two is Bo Nix. So I lead in touchdowns, I lead in yards, I lead in wins. I'm going to make the playoffs back-to-back years, but I'm the fourth best quarterback or fifth best quarterback to some people. Make it make sense. No one wanted to accept Lamar until he was an MVP. That's how long it took for some people to finally go, okay, I'm wrong on Lamar Jackson. He's a great quarterback. We were still having running back conversations about Lamar to a point in his career that should have been unacceptable. Bo, the reality is, and I know a lot of college football fans, because they saw him play forever and they didn't think he was a great college football player, they somehow think that means, okay, well, he can never be a great NFL player, even though the NFL is full of great college, not great pro, or great pro, not great in college. Start giving Bo Nix his respect. He might not be your favorite quarterback, fine. You might think, and if you think somebody is better than him, fine. But let's start being honest. He leads that class in touchdowns. He leads that class in wins. He leads that class in yards. Who else could have 8 touchdowns? Think about that. Which of those other quarterbacks could have 8 touchdowns in 2 games and not be people talk about saying, oh, he's arrived? Drake May has arrived. Jaden Daniels last year arrived. You know who's got those 4 touchdown games? It's Bo Nix. Like, let's start being honest. Let's start being fair. They did this with Lamar Jackson. Oh, I'm not going to accept it until, it's too late, and now he's the MVP, and I don't have a choice but to accept it. The guy is number one in almost every major category for that class. He's going to be the only guy to make the playoffs year 1 and year 2. Yes, does he have Sean Payton? Great. Does he have a great offensive line? Yes, great. You know what you guys all said about Caleb Williams last year? I remember it. Greatest situation ever for number 1 overall pick. How many of you said Denver was considered at the time of drafting? ESPN, Pro Football Focus, had it as a bottom 3 roster in the NFL. So Caleb had the greatest situation ever, and Denver had a bottom 3 roster. This is what other people said. And then Jaden got a total revamp in Washington, got Dan Quinn, had Cliff Kingsbury. Like, we're like, oh my gosh, look at all the support he's got. He's got Terry McLaurin. So, like, and Drake May now, and Drake, if you want to say Drake is the best second-year quarterback currently, fine. But who is Drake beating? Like, they don't have, because if Bo had the same schedule and was beating the same people that Drake May was, he still wouldn't get the credit. So the people that just don't like him, just don't like him. It's Lamar 2.0. It's that simple. Let's move on to World Series Game 3, which I'll be honest with you, my wife stayed up for those I fell asleep around inning 13. She stayed all the way up through inning 18, but I was woken up with, oh my gosh, Freddie. This is one of the coolest things about sports. Is sports at the end of the day is, and I tell my wife this all the time, sports is true reality television. You watch a game and you truly don't know the outcome. Like, you could say you know the outcome, you don't truly know the outcome. Real reality television, right? Freddie Freeman, who was not having a great game, they loaded the bases for him, I believe that was in the 12th, flew out, has not had a great postseason, but has had the kind of playoffs that when you look at these moments, Tony just texted me. I told him not to listen to it. I don't know why he listened to it. I haven't even seen the message. Just know it's not going to be great. And so when you look at the moment Freddie Freeman had last night, though, do you remember what Freddie Freeman did in the postseason last year? Like, if you just asked a random baseball fan, what did Freddie Freeman do in the playoffs last year? You wouldn't know his batting average. You wouldn't know his stats. But you would know he killed it in the World Series. He just killed it. We all know Shohei's stats because Shohei, every time he does something, it's like the first time in Major League history. We talked about it last time on the broadcast. It's reached base 7 times in a World Series game. Shohei's going to break every record. Shohei's by far the best player in the sport. Great. Freddie keeps coming up in these big moments, these storyline moments, these reality television. Oh my gosh, did you see that? Yes, people are going to complain about the Dodgers payroll. People are going to complain about, oh, it's unfair. They're going to complain about, oh, they have so many different guys. The reality is those guys, and I know analytics are huge in baseball, but Colin Cowherd has his term, manalytics. No one is more manalytics than Freddie Freeman, who just consistently in big spots comes up, delivers, makes it the walk-off home run when he's injured in the World Series last year. You don't know his stats, but you remember that swing. You remember that moment. You remember where you were. And last night, Freddie Freeman, bottom of the 18th, walk-off home run. You are going to, if you were awake, you are going to remember where you were. Or if you were asleep like me, you're going to remember when your wife was screaming it out loud and going, oh my gosh, Freddie. So I know baseball is huge into analytics, stats, but this is what makes sports truly great. These moments, these storylines, and Freddie Freeman, now 2 years in a row, a true World Series hero. Oh, man. I got to check my phone. A lot more to talk about today. We got to start, again, it's Tuesday. We're going to have power rankings here at the top of the second hour. More baseball to talk. Obviously, a gut wrencher if you are Toronto. Plenty more football to talk. This is HardFoul Radio. We'll be back momentarily. Test one, test two. Test one, test two. Test one, test two.